everyone, welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zurcher, and as you can see, we're home. So, a little update. Obviously, we're not in Utah anymore, back in New York City, and it's a gray Memorial Day weekend. I'm on my way to get some groceries, also to see if there's an urgent care somewhere nearby, just to check it out. Richard the legs look better. He doesn't look like he's suffering from diabetes anymore, but there's something wrong, and he can barely walk. So, but he refuses to go to urgent care, and I told him if I saw one, I thought there was one right here, but evidently not. So he'll see someone tomorrow. We went from 100 degrees 2 days ago, right? 3 days ago in Nevada to, I think the high is, I don't know, it's like 50 something right now. So welcome to New York. All right, so here I am in my studio, and tomorrow I'm getting Richard finally to a doctor, and I have no idea what's going on, but I have a suspicion that he had somehow gotten an infection. This is my guess. This is my non-professional medical thinking, is that somehow through those open wounds, walking in the Narrows, they had signs about a toxin that was present in the water, so much so that they had actually shut that hike down and had not allowed anyone to do it for a month in, I believe, March or April, I can't remember. But there were big signs in the beginning as we descended into the area where there was a lot of water, cautioning that there was this cyanotoxin, cyanotoxin, present in the water, and to be careful, especially if you had animals, because they can get really sick and even die. So I remember looking at it and thinking that I should take a photo of it, and then didn't. But they say that if you ingest the water, or don't put your head under the water, or don't have open wounds where these toxins can actually enter the bloodstream, you'll be fine. But as Richard had lacerated his feet, I'm guessing that there was a pretty high probability that something could have gotten in there. That's just my guess. I don't know if it's true. Who knows? We'll find out. He's going to get blood tests done. I'm going to insist on that. He refused to go to urgent care. I did try. And finally I just thought, at a certain point, right? So, but everything else is fine, and we're home, and I had my workshop on Saturday, and that was really fun and went well, and we are, back to the daily deal, and so for those of you who are following along on the travelogue, just thanks so much for coming with us. It was really, it did make it fun, or even more fun to document it. And I actually, when I started it, did not think anyone would watch it. I kind of felt like, well, maybe my mother, and that was why I posted those photos of Las Vegas, because she said, I said, this is my least favorite city in the world, and she said, you must post photographs of your least favorite city. and I promised her that I would. So that was that. Our trip home was so uneventful and blissfully nice. The airplane trip was flawless. It went off without a hitch. We had an airplane that was half full. We had a middle seat that was empty. It was just as awful as going was. It was the polar opposite. It was as good a flying experience as you could expect. We did arrive in an absolute pouring, downpour. I insisted that Richard sit in a wheelchair, which he begrudgingly did and then was grateful for, because, it's like half a mile from the gate to the baggage claim and then to get into a cab. And this woman at Newark, who was lovely, helped us and pushed him, and she was very sweet and had a nice sense of humor. So we actually ended up laughing quite a bit. And then it's been like 50 degrees here. So we went from 100 degrees in Vegas to 55 high here in New York, which is unheard of it's now June. And I'm having a little bit of trouble, I guess, kind of getting back into it. I've got, I did my workshop. That was 3 hours, and I was pretty exhausted on Sunday. But then today I just kind of felt, listless. And like I kept looking at different projects and thinking, well, I should do this. And then I kept thinking, well, I want to go bigger. I want to start a bigger project. And I haven't done that yet. And I keep thinking about it. And there he is. There's my boy. He's not like the kittens. He's not like the little kittens. But he's pretty great. I do miss those kitties though, Myrnie. Just so you know, you wouldn't have liked them. They were quite aggressive. One of the great things about coming home was that I had a bunch of packages waiting for me. So I'm going to open a couple of them because they relate to videos that I've done in the past, or they are threads. So very exciting. The first is from my friend Joe, who I met on the street as I was admiring his artwork that he had put up in a phone booth, in an abandoned phone booth. And he just happened by coincidence to be standing there. He literally had just put them up, and my husband and I were walking and we saw them and we stopped and videotaped it, and then videotaped him and meeting him. And we had such a great time with him and his friend. So he very thoughtfully sent me his book, 100 Pajamas, which is a coloring book. And I'll put the link for his coloring book below. And also the video where I meet him, I'll put it in the upper right-hand corner of this video. This is from that artist that I met. And so, here we go. I'm going to open this up. It's very well sealed, I must say. Oh, look. Look at the book. Isn't it fabulous? 100 Pajamas coloring book. Is that the most adorable thing? And then there's a little note. That is just adorable. So this is a little note from Joe. And then here it is. This is the coloring book. And he signed it. Did he sign it? Yes. That is just adorable. All right. And there it is with all the all the animals. Pajamas. No. I love the zebra. Isn't that great? And the octopus. I love it. So great. And the duck. That's a T-Rex with air balloons. The shark and the giraffe with the surfers. Aren't these great? So much fun. Oh, so sweet. Thank you, Joe. That's just great. And then the second package, which I could not wait to open, was from a huge box from Steph Francis. So I will open that up as well. Here we go. So you can see here, this is my Steph Francis threads, which I am making up kits for my Dorset button workshop. That is the eyeglasses and case and the scissor case, the Dorset button scissor case and Dorset button glasses case, and I'll be making up kits so that people can sign up for the workshop and purchase the threads. I haven't gotten the threads from the thread gatherer yet. She's still making up those, and because of the Oriental linen issue, she doesn't have it for a couple of months. She's dyeing all the Oriental linen that she's got for my kits, and this is the House of Embroidery threads, so it's very exciting. And look what they did. They always do this. They give me little samples. How fabulous is that? I cannot wait to dive into this. Oh, amazing. I'm just thrilled. I'll be taking this out probably tomorrow. I have a live stream with my patrons, so I think I'll take this out and experiment with some of it with them. I just want to share that with all of you. So excited. So those of you who followed the travelogue, you may be wondering, how is my husband? And it turns out that he tore a ligament in his foot, which is why he was in so much pain. And let's see, so I'm guessing he did it on our third day, which makes him really, really beyond a trooper, because he was doing a lot of walking with the torn ligament, which can be really painful. So his foot is bandaged, and he's supposed to be keeping it up and resting, and he's being pretty good about that. He also, it turns out, may have gotten an infection in that walk through the Narrows, which was our day 3. There's no way to really, there's nothing one can do if he did get an infection. I'm guessing he did. And because he had a slight fever and just really felt sluggish. And so that, to me, indicates your body's trying to fight an infection. That's my guess. It also turns out that he has the beginnings of a hernia. So the poor guy, I mean, that's a lot, you know, that's a lot to be coping with on what was a pretty strenuous trip. We are home now, and things are easier, obviously. Doctors, you know, can be seen and all of that. But we did have a great trip, and Richard has remarked on how wonderful it was. These things happen. Our son said to us, please don't go away again. Every time you go, you travel, one of you gets injured. And while that's not totally accurate, there is some truth to that. So we continue to want to travel because we do love traveling. But now that I'm home, I started, well, first I felt a little lethargic and and that often happens when there's a transition of some sort. But I had my the beginning Dorset button workshop on Saturday. So right off the bat, literally we arrived home at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. And the next afternoon I taught that 3-hour workshop. And then Sunday I pretty much just took the day off. And now it's Wednesday, and I have a live stream I do once a month for my patrons who sign up for the Let's Stitch Together tier. So I'll be doing that later. And I've got my improvisational stitching piece, which I continue to work on, and that's been really, really fun. And then I have a couple of other things, and I'm thinking about going bigger. So I'm going to start playing around with some ideas I have about on that. I've got my advanced Dorset button workshop is coming up this weekend on Saturday. There's still space for those of you who might want to, who know how to do a traditional Dorset button, but you'd like to branch out and make a Dorset button that's non-traditional. So I've made some that look like a cherry blossom, or some that look like a little bouquet. You can get as abstract and as wacky as you want, but I'm going to be going over all of those, a lot of different techniques and how to make a Dorset button non-traditional. So that's coming up this Saturday. I'll put the link in the upper right-hand corner to sign up for that if you want to. And then the following week, I have my basics workshop, which I have kits for. But if you're going to sign up for that, you will need to sign up quickly if you want a kit. You can sign up right until the day of the workshop for the basics workshop. But if you want a kit, you're going to need to do that quickly. Before, I think this Saturday will be the deadline for the kits. And that's for people who are brand new to this and are just sort of getting your feet wet and want to learn all the basics. So we're going to go over needles and which needles to use and all the different thread types. And in the kit, I give you fabric, as well as some things to play with, like silk ribbon, as well as some sort of interesting layering things that you could use to layer, things like cork, things like that, and some wool, some linen, and then a 3-weight and 5-weight and an 8-weight, as well as some needles, the needles you'd use. So everything that you could want or use for that workshop is in the kit. So if you want to do that, sign up for it. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's really, the basics workshop is for those who want to get their feet wet, but you're not sure how. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I'll put that link in the upper right-hand corner of this video as well. So that's my news, and I hope all of you are well and were able to enjoy some of the Memorial Day weekend. It seems that we went from 100 degrees in Las Vegas and arrived in a pouring rainstorm and about 52 degrees. And then it was really cold and rainy for most of the weekend, which was not usual. It was a little bit unusual. But now we're starting to get lovely, warm summer weather here in New York City. And it's nice to be home. And it's good to see all of you. Until next time, let's keep stitching together.